Welcome into the Orange Crush podcast. Rachel Veal, Cody Roark. Broncos in London getting ready to take on a winless Jets team. It's hard to believe that we've already had our second day of practice, and it's not even like 2 o'clock in the afternoon here in the Mile High City. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's been weird because like now we're getting injury report updates at like 7 a.m. Obviously, we know kickoff this weekend is going to be 7:30 a.m. So,
Yep.
I mean, I kind of like it. I mean, I wish we got these updates like when we go to practice. Can we just do like early morning practices going forward? I mean, I would
You're a
like that
morning
because then it
person,
gives us
though.
the rest of the day. Yes.
You're a morning person. Okay. From the women that have to get ready in the morning, not saying you don't get ready, okay, but I know our routines probably look a little bit different. I would be totally down for like a 12 p.m. practice time, right? Where we get to like talk with all of the guys and everything. But a 7 a.m. would be a little too early for your girl over here.
What about 10 a.m.? I feel like 10 a.m. is a good compromise.
Yes and no.
It depends on when you wake up.
I like my slower mornings. I'm not gonna lie. I used to do a show starting at 10 a.m. Like I had to be up at 7, prepping, doing all of that kind of jazz. And I've really started to enjoy my slow mornings. But I also hate when I have something to do in the afternoon and I'm not getting done until 6 o'clock. So I go both ways on this, but I would say like, oh, let's meet in the middle. 11 a.m. 11 a.m. practice time.
All right, 11 a.m. I mean, it's easy for me, Rachel. All I have to do in the morning, I just have to go into the bathroom, splash water on my face, brush my teeth, comb my hair, and that's it. I'm good. I'm ready to rock and roll. It's not as complex for me.
I
I
think I
do
might
apply.
hate you just a little bit for that, just a tiny bit.
Well, I do. Now see, I don't really get slow mornings anymore because the puppy and
True.
everything else. I got to do morning social media content stuff. So I mean, it is
Yeah.
it is crazy, and I think I'm still trying to find the balance here of, okay, timeliness, like managing, like taking the dog,
Yep.
to the bathroom, making sure he's not chewing on stuff, trying to wear him down so he could take a nap, and then taking the other dog outside. It's
Yep.
crazy because I have to take the other dog outside, but then when we get in, I have to like carry her in because then I have to get like pet safe antibacterial wipes and wipe her feet so she doesn't track anything in from potentially from the outside. So
Um, Dog parent things.
I think I'm okay with being a dog parent at this point.
Right. It sits there. Actually, one of my really good friends, like some of our best friends, she was like ready to have a child, and he was like, "I'm not ready." So he's like, "Let's get a second puppy, and then we can see." So that's exactly what we did. And now she's like, "Nope, I'm not ready to become like actual parents. So we'll just stick with the dogs." And I'm like, I feel like
Perfect.
that. I feel that deep, like in my soul.
Well, I know we have a lot of Broncos conversation to get to. I can hear you, Rachel. He's waking up. So lead us off with the topic. I'll be back in time to answer like any questions or whatnot. I hear you. I just got to go get him real quick here on the Orange Crush
Perfect.
podcast.
Listen, I love this. It is very fluid. This is like our actual lives. I love how we're talking about kids and everything else here. Okay, Broncos. Jonah Elliss, obviously on the injury report. That's a little interesting, dealing with the shoulder and rib injury. Did not practice for a second straight day. So what does that mean? Most likely we're going to see a little bit more of Q Robinson, obviously a rookie drafted from Alabama. Cody, once you get back, I'm very curious what you liked out of Q Robinson. He's told us that his bread and butter is special teams, which we've seen. He's done well. But what about him now having to play in that starting role?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna get our first look.
Oh
Hello,
my
Ollie's
God.
very excited about the idea of Q
How
Robinson,
cute
but
he is.
I mean, for Q, he's long, he's rangy, he's athletic. I know he's very excited. He was trying to get off the scouting report. The one thing I like about him is, yeah, I think he can impact on defense, special teams. I mean, not having Jonah potentially is going to be obviously a big loss because he's been so impactful in the short amount of time. Obviously, that he's played this season. He's playing 39% of Denver's defensive snaps. He's got 1 sack. We know he forced that fumble on special teams. He has been so fun to watch this year. And so, obviously, the rib and shoulder injury for him, that's a big blow. But we haven't seen Q yet in the regular season. I know we got to see Savion Jones against the Bengals at
Yep.
defensive end. So now, more than likely, we're going to see Q. And I'm curious, though, what that looks like in the rotation behind Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, and obviously Dondre Tillman. Is he going to get as much of a sample size as Jonah typically does? That, to me, I think is going to be curious. Or are we going to see extra snaps for Cooper and Bonito to supplement maybe what Jonah's not getting if he doesn't play?
I
That's
could
the
totally
question here.
I was gonna say I can totally see this depending on how the game goes, right? Like, okay, you're up 21-3. I can just see we're gonna be seeing a lot of Q Robinson, but Vance Joseph did tell the media that he's had a good couple of weeks of practice and he's ready to play if called upon. So it'll be interesting to see how that ends up shaping. The other one is Malcolm Roach, obviously returning back from the injury report, calf injury. What does Malcolm bring to this defense that they don't already have?
Just stoutness. I mean, I feel like how DJ Jones plays, Malcolm Roach plays the same exact way. And no disrespect to guys like Inyoma Uwazurike or Jordan Jackson or those other guys. I just don't feel like they bring the same juice. They don't have the same strengths. Like Malcolm is a guy who can really anchor down. He doesn't get pushed back a lot. He creates double teams, which then allow for one-on-ones for guys like Zach Allen. And Zach Allen is facing double teams, triple teams, sometimes quadruple teams at this point. So when DJ comes off, because you don't want DJ to be on the field every single snap, you need a guy like Malcolm Roach to come in and be able to do the same exact thing. They have missed that interior push. When that second unit comes in, when DJ comes off, those other guys haven't been able to generate that push up the middle the way that, a guy like Malcolm has. But I'm curious, Rachel, because it is a calf. Calves are always tricky. Mm-hmm. He suffered this injury leading up to the week 1 matchup against the Titans. There is a chance, like I said, they've activated his window. Will he play Sunday? We still don't know. I mean, I think it's trending towards that because I think what's going to happen is they're going to officially place Ben Powers on injured reserve. They haven't done that yet. That's the intention. He's already had surgery. He's out for 2 months. We know that. But I think that in order to make room for Malcolm to come off of that, instead of having to make a corresponding roster move with someone on the roster, they'll do that with Ben, and then Malcolm would just take his spot on the 53. I think that's probably what we will see happen, barring any setback.
Yeah, so in case you're unfamiliar, you have 21 days, essentially, once a player comes back from practice to be activated to the 53-man roster. Now, with him coming back on Wednesday, it's Thursday, so he have 20 days to do it. So he doesn't absolutely have to play it this Sunday if they feel like he's not ready, the body's not feeling good. It doesn't have to happen. But I feel like we're seeing 2 days of back-to-back practice. That's leaning me towards saying, okay, I think we might see a little bit of playing time. Will we see a full game? Maybe not, but I do like the idea of him making sure that he steps on the field.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's trending that way, and that would be big. I mean, especially against this, New York Jets offense that has Breece Hall, that has Justin Fields. You don't want a guy like Fields to be able to tuck it underneath and run up the middle. If your pass rush gets too far upfield, we know he can get outside. So the biggest key for Denver this week is going to be containing Fields on the ground, but also shutting down Breece Hall. And Breece has kind of had the Broncos number over the last handful of years, except last year. He had 10 carries for 4 yards. The Broncos shut him down. I know they had Braylon Allen in that game as well, as they were trying to rotate those two guys as the two backs. Braylon Allen's obviously not playing in this game. He's on injured reserve. So I just think that there are a lot of moving pieces here for Denver defensively. If they can find a way to stop Justin Fields and Breece Hall, makes it better. And having a guy like Malcolm Roach back in the mix here behind DJ Jones, you are getting that dominant level of play that DJ brings to the table with a guy like Malcolm. So I'm all for it if he comes back.
Listen, there's one person that is so funny in the locker room, and you never expect him to be funny. It's DJ Jones. He will crack so many jokes. I love when the Broncos social team asks him to do something because I just sit in the back and listen, and then I always chat with him after. But he is just so funny. Like, we always talk about people that we love being able to chat with in the locker room on here. He is very, very, very high on my list.
I mean, you talk to anybody in that locker room, offensive player, defensive player, they'll say that DJ Jones is the glue guy that keeps everything together. Like he's the guy with the voice, which, he's a captain this year, but he's not really like the rah-rah motivational speech before a game captain. He's kind of a lead by example. He sets the tone. But I mean, you talk to any unit on this team, they love DJ, and they say like DJ is so important to the culture of the locker room. And I agree. So does Ollie, apparently.
Oh my gosh. First of all, he's so freaking cute. I saw your picture that you posted the other day when he fell asleep during our show. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with him. And this camera too.
Best feeling in the world.
This camera really shows like the quality and his features of his face. And I'm like, oh, I just need another puppy apparently. Look at him. He's so cute.
Folks, this is your sign. If you're watching the podcast, if you've been on the fence about getting a puppy, this is your sign. Go do it.
Go get a puppy. I'll try and tell my husband that, and he'll look at me and be like, yeah, right, Rachel.
But what do they say? Like, it's better to ask for forgiveness and permission,
See, okay, here's the problem. Honestly, I would totally go and get another dog. But Anthony, my husband, was not around when I got my original dog, Mia. And that's his baby. Okay. So I feel so bad that he didn't get the experience of bringing her home with me. So I'm like, I can't do that to him. Otherwise, I would totally just show up with a puppy one day and he'd be like, well, I guess we have 2 dogs. So I won't do that to him now. But
you got to get one of these little guys.
He's so cute. He's so tiny and adorable. How much Jets film have you watched?
A ton. They're an interesting team. I mean, Rachel, I mean, offensively, they got talent. They have a very good rushing attack, and I think that's just because of Justin Fields' ability. Like, he adds to that there with Breece Hall. But defensively, they have so many talented players, but they're one of the worst defenses in the NFL. It's mind-boggling to me. So for them to give up the amount of big plays that they've done, I mean, defensively, they're allowing teams to run for over 140 yards against them. They're already at the juncture, Rachel, where they've allowed over 700 yards of rushing offense to teams so far through 5 games, 5 touchdowns. I mean, they are just – it's not an area they're good at, which is surprising because I think they have really good personnel.
They have the names, right? But something's not clicking when it comes to this defense. But I feel like every single time I watch any sort of Jets highlights, I'm like, I don't understand. It was the same thing with the Broncos. I'm like, I don't understand your identity of this football team. And I feel like that's continuous week after week after week when I watch the Jets.
Yeah. I mean, and granted, they got a brand new head coach in Aaron Glenn, first-time head coach. And look, he's trying to instill his culture, which it's not always easy to do that. I mean, the Jets – I wouldn't even say just typical. We've seen this. That Jets culture organizationally, because of who's their owner, is not an easy place to work. It's not an easy place to build culture. It's always an uneasy fan base because the expectations in New York, they're brutal. They're ruthless.
Yeah.
And I think for a guy like Aaron Glenn, he's trying to do things the right way. And I said this as well. I think Aaron Glenn's a very good coach. You talk to any player that's kind of played for him. Obviously, Sean Payton's got a lot of praise for him. Having coached with him, he's under Sean's coaching tree essentially here. Darren Muji, who we all know, I think, it's going to take time. And so they have to set that expectation here that they're trying to build the culture. It may take a couple of years. They may stink for a little bit, but you got to get the right pieces all across the board. You still have pieces and voices from those older regimes and cultures that some guys may be in, some guys may not be bought in, and that can obviously impact you. If the Jets are smart, they will let Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji do their business. And it's going to take some time, but I think that they can get them to a very competitive point.
No, I agree. I think that things just are like, it's like that awkward first stage of dating, right? Where you're like, okay, we have a lot of the like similar ideas, but like we need to figure out a way to make them all work. And I feel like that's kind of where the Jets are. And hopefully they do figure it out. Hopefully they don't figure it out this week, but hopefully they figure out in the long run. Because I like Justin Fields, man. I felt so bad for him when he was in Chicago. I would love to see him succeed. But I guess that kind of goes back to my original question now. What do you think the Broncos' identity is?
I think it's a smash and ground attack here for them in the run game. I really think we've started to see that open up things for them, Rachel. I mean, with J.K. Dobbins, RJ Harvey, and like RJ's usage has kind of been interesting. It hasn't necessarily been primarily on the ground, but we've seen him get involved more. It's more of this hybrid player for Harvey, whereas JK's kind of like the heart and soul of the run game right now, getting things going. I think he's the 6th leading rusher right now in the NFL. He's been such a bright spot. And this is all culminating over the last couple of weeks where Denver really got off to a slow start in the run game early on in the season. So I think this is their identity, is run the football, open everything up, because I think when Denver is threatening with the run game, defenses will play Bo Nix a lot differently. It'll allow Bo Nix to get into more of a rhythm. It'll allow him to hit those shots. That's exactly what happened in the second half. They had 94 yards rushing in the second half against the Eagles, and I don't think a lot of people really understood that, but it opened things up for Bo to attack some more one-on-one situations, and it took the pressure off the pass rush there from being able to get home. This is the identity of this team: smash mouth defense, an attacking, rushing attack there. And then you have a quarterback who's capable, I think, of making every throw. But you have to have all those other pieces there to help make his job easier, which, I mean, some people might take that as a slight, but I think any quarterback needs that. People are talking about Bo Nix so much, but like, look at Patrick Mahomes. He leads the NFL in overthrows. He leads the NFL in underthrows. But because he's Patrick Mahomes, no one's talking about it as much. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now. I think that the identity is there here for Denver. Can they consistently do it, though, I think is the bigger question.
Can you believe we're even putting Sean Payton's name with the run game and saying that that's the identity of this Denver Broncos football team? Because I can't.
I mean, it's crazy to think about. I know like Sean's the best offenses Sean has had. I mean, he really has had good defenses.
Yeah.
Quarterback who can excel in the quick pass game. But really what set all that up is the strong run game, whether it be Kamara, and Mark Ingram in one year, or Reggie Bush one year. You have all these different, personnel guys.
True.
Alvin Kamara has never rushed for 1,000 yards in a season, which is crazy, right? But they've had collectively good running teams and good offensive line play. So it's all there for Sean to kind of replicate. I think we're starting to see it, but Rachel, the biggest question is, can they build up that consistency?
J.K. Dobbins really feels like the missing piece of the puzzle that they've been searching for so long. And I didn't believe that for the first 3 games of the season. I was like, I feel like, okay, it's just another piece that's kind of getting thrown in there. Maybe has like some sharp corners, but really we need rounded corners. No, I feel like now it's fitting perfectly. Sean Payton actually cracking me up when they were like, did you hear JK speaking Spanish? And he was like, I saw the video. Never would have thought that. But I feel like he just brings this sort of attitude to the team, and it's not a bad attitude. It's like a little bit of a spark, right? Of like, this is a reminder. It's supposed to be fun. Like, let's enjoy this. People are going to doubt us, but that's okay. And I feel like that is so necessary to have in a roster and on a locker room. And he brings that, and yet you're seeing success with that. It's so fun to watch him actually play. And I feel like I haven't said that about a running back in so long.
Yeah. No, and I think another thing too that's crazy about it is the Broncos talk so much. Like, I think they've done a great job building a locker room culture. Sean Payton has said that when they look at bringing a guy in, they want to make sure that it's doing the guys in the locker room a favor, that they're getting a guy who fits in with that. How JK has seemingly fit in and has become a key leader inside this locker room as quick as he has, considering it wasn't in free agency. It was really right when mandatory minicamp was about ready to end was when they brought him in. To me, I think that's the ultimate sign. Like, he's selfless. He's not a guy who's looking out just for himself, which sometimes you get that in the NFL, but he's mentoring the other running backs in that room. I mean, he has become such a fan favorite quickly. It's nice to see. I agree. He's been the missing piece here. And hopefully he's here for the next couple of years, Rachel. I think that they could really do some good stuff if Sean continues to build with he and RJ Harvey.
Yeah, and I think that duo can be so fascinating, right? Like, I don't think we've even really hit the tipping point for RJ Harvey of what he can be and how dangerous he can actually be. So if you see that, I would love for this week against a winless Jets team to actually be able to see the two-headed monster in both of those guys. I know JK is going to get a lot of touches, but also I feel like things are leaning almost a little bit more that we are seeing Sean Payton just rely on one back, right? Like, I feel like in years past, it really has been 2. Like, even if one gets hot, you're seeing the other guy rotate in. And I feel like we haven't seen that as much this season.
Yeah, no. And I think they're really just trying to figure out how do you mix and manage your rotation without impacting the rhythm and flow of your offense, right? Because sometimes when you tinker with that a little bit, it can have a negative effect on you. You can have someone who does something really well. Like, for example, I think JK is so patient behind the line of scrimmage. It's a good thing. I think RJ is developing that patience. I think we've seen that, but I think RJ gets going a lot quicker when he can just hit a hole and get downhill. I mean, he's hard to bring down. When we talk about yards, per contact, you have certain now, like yards before contact, yards post contact. RJ Harvey right now is averaging 4.45 yards post contact. That's after being hit by a defender. He's running through that contact. That's ridiculous. And the Jets, I mean, I've got some numbers here, Rachel. Let me pull it up real quick. When you talk about the tail of the tape and the comparison, the New York Jets defensively, they are allowing 3.61 yards post contact, which is 30th right now in the NFL. So, guys are going up and making contact with runners in the hole initially, but they're not able to bring them down. They're allowing a lot of yards post contact. And this is where RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins, both of these guys excel. Rachel, this game on Sunday should see the Broncos trying to eclipse maybe 200 yards rushing, but as a team, not between if one guy had 200 yards, that'd be crazy, astronomical. We would love that. It would change the narrative. But the Broncos offense this week has a chance to hit 200 yards rushing if they attack things the right way. It might be a bold take, but don't be surprised if we see it.
I would love to see that, first of all, for both of those guys, for both RJ and JK. I think it would be so fun. I would absolutely thrive. But going back to the patience that you see with JK, it is fascinating when you actually watch the difference between both of them right when they get the ball. JK, he scans it, but it is so fast, and it is so meaningful too of how he is looking for the correct pocket to go through. And then all of a sudden you see him, and his speed actually, for how old he is, he's got the speed, which is amazing. And then of course you watch RJ, and he just kind of goes for it, right? Which lane am I supposed to go for? But that patience,
Yeah.
I think that has been one of the most fun things to watch in game. Like I'm watching his eyes really try and move in the game. There's a lot of stuff we watch during film study, but like actually in the game, in the moment, I find it to be so fascinating to see which lane he's going to take.
Yeah, and I think so much of it, you talk about like there's different schemes. There's inside zone, there's gap schemes where it's like, hey, we're gonna hit A gap, B gap, or it's the outside zone where it's like, all right, let's try to stretch this wide, and if we can get the edge, great. If not, look for the cutback. You know what's crazy about JK? How long he's been in the NFL, Rachel? We're talking about a guy who's been in the league for 5 years. He's only 26 years old, so by NFL standards, he's an older guy considering he's got that 5-year threshold, but it's crazy. But he's like only 2 years older than RJ at this point.
And he's
I think
3 years younger than me. How does that make sense?
I mean, that's the case with so many of these guys that we get to cover. But to me, it's just so crazy that the NFL shelf life, like I think JK, despite the crazy injuries he's had, notice how that hasn't been a narrative surrounding him, which is great because I think it's easy to say like, okay, this guy suffered these injuries, can't use him anymore. JK doesn't look like he's slowing down, which is a great sign. I think it's hard. It's hard for this position specifically for guys to really kind of repair their images because when you have an injury, it automatically kind of negates your stock. JK, I think, has improved his stock quite a bit. And I think that this season's a great example of that.
You got to give that to him too, of what he's doing in the off season, what he's done with trainers, etc., to really stay healthy and to still be able to do those moves. So it'll be interesting to see, hopefully on Sunday. But after the break, we have to talk about the AFC Defensive Player of the Week, the guy in London with the biggest smile on his face. We'll be right back. A smile we all love to see, and I feel like we've been seeing a whole lot of it, is Nick Bonito. In London today, he was asked about being named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week. A huge smile on his face, saying it's pretty dope considering there's a lot of really good defenders out there, and it is pretty cool. We are seeing somebody who I never thought we would see again because the Broncos had Von Miller, right? Like Von Miller was always the top, the pedestal, and it's been so fun to really see somebody challenge that, and in such a good guy like Nick Bonito too. I'm very excited to see what he does the rest of the season.
I mean, and Nick loves Vaughn, idolizes him, kind of tries to model his game after him. And I think just like the pace that Nick Bonito is on right now with already 7 sacks this early on, I mean, he keeps up the pace. And I think even if he averages like 1 sack a game over the course of the remainder of the games, he's going to surpass Vaughn's 18.5 sacks that he had back in his rookie season in 2012. I think that's the key that we've been looking for, Rachel, since the Broncos. Remember the tough day that they traded him away, and it's like, all right, we're investing in Bradley Chubb. Bradley had the injury issues and whatnot. Denver's been looking for that other pass rusher to really kind of take the mantle and run with it. Nick Bonito, his level of growth from his rookie season to his second year to even his third year to now, I mean, it's so impressive. And here's the thing that stands out to me is like, Nick didn't, like in the last 2 years, Nick didn't start the year as the starter for the Broncos, which is crazy to me to think about, that he was shining in this type of role. And now that he's the feature full-time guy, he is becoming, I think, one of those exciting players that you got to watch. And look, there's people like Bussing with the Boys, Taylor Lewan, Will Compton. They're like, who is this number 15? If you actually watch the film, guys, you would actually understand who he is, why he was emerging for the last couple of years. It shouldn't be a surprise to see Nick where he's at right now.
Listen, I actually love when Broncos players stay under the radar a little bit, because I'm like, you know what? I don't want your headlines. You can have the headlines when it comes to the playoffs. I enjoy the fact that they're a little bit more under the radar with it, but it doesn't bother Nick, it seems like. He is just such a go happy, like chill dude. He is so fun to watch. He's fun to talk to. Like, he's just a really overall good dude. But the fact that he didn't have an NFL team growing up that he paid attention to, and he just watched Von Miller, like wherever Von was, that's what he was watching. It just makes it so fun. And I would love to see him break the record. I'm not going to lie to you. I'll never forget the day that Von Miller was traded. The business is so cool. Do you think he'll retire?
He was crying. Remember, he was like in the parking lot, like reporters caught him leaving the facility, and he was like in tears. He was sad, but you know what? Like Von got to go win a Super Bowl that year. So Von, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Do you think he'll retire a
Bronco? Which one?
Von.
Will he retire a Bronco?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, 110%. He loves Denver. Yeah. If it were up to him, he would have, like, if the Broncos had interest in him in this offseason, he would have signed here. Like it, and he probably wouldn't have signed for like much. Like he loves the Denver Broncos. It's part of who he is, which I love and respect after, everything that's gone on in his career. Now he's been with Broncos, Rams, Bills, come at 4 different teams. It's crazy to think about. He still wants to be a Bronco, and he says he's a Bronco at heart.
Oh my gosh, Von Miller. What a guy. The Halloween parties.
Chad Kelly.
I know. Honestly, I know we're all happy that the Broncos aren't in the headlines for any of these crazy things anymore. But like that Super Bowl 50 team had so many wild stories that were just like wildly entertaining at the exact same time. And I kind of miss them. I'm not going to lie.
I don't know if Sean Payton would allow for Halloween parties.
Could you imagine?
It's wild. Have you seen the TikTok of, I just saw it. My wife sent it to me actually. After the Broncos beat the Eagles, it says, "I can't believe the Eagles just lost to these divas," and it's a bunch of like TikTok dances from Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton.
You're kidding.
I'll have to send it to you because it is hilarious. Pat Surtain, Brandon Jones. It is one of the best videos I've seen. It's hilarious.
Yeah, and honestly, like those guys, I mean, they're all so serious, right? Like I can't imagine actually seeing them do like a TikTok dance.
You're going to be completely surprised because, like, yeah, as you're right, like we get to know them. They're very serious, business, detail oriented. And then you see them, it's like they're having fun. They're doing these TikTok dances. It's great. I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah, please do. Because I need a good laugh on a Thursday. That's for sure. Anything else that you're really paying attention to when it comes to the Jets this week?
I think the biggest key for Denver is just use your biggest strength here, which is your run game right now, and take it to the biggest weakness that the Jets D has, and that's their run game. I want to see that effort because I think you're going to see the Broncos pass it quite a bit. Sauce Gardner's having a rough year so far this year, so I know like he versus Cortland Sutton's going to be fun.
Yep.
But that matchup, I don't think opens up necessarily unless you get the run game going. Kind of like similar what happened last week with Cortland against Quinyon. It didn't really start going Cortland's way until they really had the threat of the run that the Eagles had to respect. So I think just like the game plan can just play out there. And I'll say this, though. The Jets have played teams tough, though, despite their numbers, despite how they've played, despite their record. They've played guys tough. They've challenged them. I know they challenged the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just a couple of weeks ago. So and Baker and them, they're playing good football right now.
Yeah,
so not necessarily a cakewalk of a game. And look, they're not buying into the idea of like us in the media, and I'm guilty of this, but it's like you want them to avoid falling into a trap game. It being a trap, essentially, after a big win. You don't want to have a letdown against a winless team. You don't want to overlook them. Sean Payton says that they don't necessarily believe in that these guys are pros and that they'll be ready to go. So hopefully that's the case. Yeah,
because we just, as the media, make up trap games. And it's not like we have seen other teams do it all the time. You know what I mean? I know. Crazy.
It's crazy how we get we talk about things that are relevant. Like, it's like, oh, you guys are creating this narrative of trap games. No, we're not. We're just talking about, if you look at history, you look one week at how a team can look, and then you look the next against a winless team. You see teams kind of overlook and drop the ball a little bit. That's sports. That's not us making stuff up. That's just something you don't want to see happen. So we talk about it.
Right, exactly. And we don't want to. And I say any international game, it's a 50-50 flip the coin type of game. Who you got tonight?
Ooh, tough one. I think the Eagles respond. The Giants are curious to see what happens there, because obviously, you don't want guys to get hurt, but you're looking at this game okay, what's the storyline? We know Jackson Dart's been dealing with an injury. I know they're cleared to go. They're getting Tyrone Tracy back in this game against Philly. The Eagles might be very mad, so I'm looking for them to possibly respond. But also, the Giants are going to get a little bit of extra rest coming into that Broncos game, whereas Denver's coming off the Jets, and they're coming off of a London trip. So some bodily catch up that they're going to have obviously have this upcoming week. So to me, I'm going to go with the Eagles. Who you got?
I'm going with the Eagles too, but I am very excited to see what the Giants put on the screen tonight. I think it's going to be very, very interesting. Because I'm not really concerned about this Sunday's game, but I am a little concerned. If they weren't at home next week, I would be even more concerned. Yeah. Luckily, Broncos country will be behind them, but coming back from travel is no easy task, man.
Would hate for them to go play on that MetLife garbage ass turf that they have down there. My God, that would have I would have been worried if it was the turf that they had to play on.
Hey, they got turf this weekend, so.
Is it turf or is it grass? I think they have like a retractable.
It's turf because Sean said every single player would much rather prefer to play on grass. Oof. So it's turf, but yeah, it'll be interesting. I know I hate turf.
Turf is, it allows you to play faster, but my goodness, it's the biggest cause of non-contact injuries, and the science behind it is very alarming. As an ACL survivor who tore his ACL on turf, I can vouch for that.
Did you know that you tore it as soon as it happened?
No, I thought I broke my leg because my knee was completely buckled upwards.
Right.
So I thought I broke my leg. I was like, I broke my leg. But then it reset, the trainers reset my leg and whatnot. And I initially thought I was going to be okay, but my knee got swollen quickly and just filled up with fluid, and you can feel it. They call it a fusion. So that was not good. Ew. And the MRI, I went to the ER and the guy's like, oh yeah, we don't think it's torn. MRI goes in there and automatically the sports orthopedic surgeon says, your ACL, LCL, MCL, meniscus, everything's torn. I was like, wow, never trust an ER doctor on knee stuff, apparently.
Yeah, no kidding. Though. Have you ever broken a bone though?
Do fingers count? I sometimes think fingers are kind of borderline. Yes, it's a bone essentially, but fingers are the easiest bone I feel to break. I've never broken my arm or my leg or my foot or anything like that. Okay. But I have finger though. I don't know if we count that. What about you?
I count that. You still have to wear a cast. Still have to reset. I've never broken a bone. So
good.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, knock on wood that I never do, obviously. But I do feel I can't relate when all these players go through injuries like this. And I'm I have no clue. Could you tell? Could you not tell? Did it hurt? If you're laughing when you're getting carted off, I'm judging you. And then I find out you're doing it so you're not crying from pain. I feel
shock sets in. I've seen some when I coached, I've had a couple of kids break their tib fib, complete tib fib fracture, and they're in shock essentially. So they're not necessarily feeling the pain, but you're looking at their leg and it's like a rubber pencil. It's
oh my god,
scariest thing ever. I hate it. It makes me want to puke. I can't see stuff like that.
Yeah, well, on that note, everybody, we hope you have a wonderful Thursday. Broncos, 7:30 a.m., an early game. Make sure you tune in on Tuesday. We'll have you caught up on everything you need to know, hopefully, about a Broncos win. Cody, have an excellent weekend, my friend. Enjoy the puppy cuddles. I'm very jealous, and we will talk on Tuesday.
Sounds good, Rachel. Enjoy your weekend, Broncos country.